First up in our lineup of brilliant peaches, please welcome Maggie, the co-founder of Phase.
Wow, can you guys be here every Monday morning for me from now on, please? Oh, wow. Well, let me just start by saying it is a privilege to follow the matriarch of FemTech, so I hope I do you justice here. My name is Maggie McDarris. I am the CEO and founder of Phase, and I am so excited to tell you about what we're building today. Phase is a company whose mission is to empower millions of women to leverage their monthly hormone cycle for success at work and at life. For decades, women have been forced to operate within a corporate world that was not designed for us. As a result, many women see increased rates of burnout and a loss in productivity due to their menstrual cycle. And unfortunately, periods and their associated issues are still often hushed or ignored in the workplace. What this means is that many women, myself included, find ourselves foregoing our natural rhythms and defaulting to the 24-hour workday, trying to accomplish every type of task, every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year. However, science is unveiling an alternative, one that can and should revolutionize the way that women work. We now know that based on where a woman is in her monthly hormone cycle, there are certain skill sets and task types that are enhanced. Take ovulation, for example, when a woman's magnetism and communication skills are at an all-time high. Perfect time for closing that big deal or, standing in front of a room of 400 strangers telling them about your new business. See, this knowledge can help us shift the work that is in our control to the phases of the cycle when we're going to be most effective. And in doing so, a woman's cycle becomes her superpower. And as we know, every superhero needs a sidekick. Enter Phase, the essential sidekick for successful women. Our mobile app educates users on how their changes in hormones impact their energy levels, their cognition, and subsequently their work. Our mobile app will offer daily and weekly insights into productivity themes and task types based on where a user is in their cycle. Now that said, my background and years of experience in public health have taught me that education alone is never enough to see sustainable change. You also have to curate a person's environment in order to support their success, and that is why our strategy with Phase is twofold. Alongside our mobile app, we have built a one-of-a-kind suite of integrations to help our users incorporate cycle syncing activities into their workday seamlessly. Wouldn't it be lovely if your project management software prompted you to consider your cycle as you were organizing your to-do list? Or imagine going to book an event in your calendar for 3 weeks from now and being reminded of where you're going to be in your cycle, what that means for your work, and how you should schedule accordingly. Starting with Google Calendar and Slack, Phase's proprietary algorithm outsources the mental load of applying cycle syncing concepts at work. And in doing so, we assure we are effective in supporting women, but that also we remain sticky as an essential part of the professional women's productivity toolkit. I am joined on this mission of creating a new way of working for women by an honestly humbling founding team. So first we have Georgie Powell. Georgie is currently the VP of Strategy at Freedom. She's a seasoned executive. She's a growth expert in the digital well-being and B2C product space. Next, we have Sam Cook. Sam is an incredible product architect, and most notably, he is one of the co-founders of Mixcloud, an app many of you probably have on your phone. It's a popular streaming platform that he and his team have bootstrapped to over 20 million active users. As for myself, I have a diverse background in public health, wellness, executive leadership, startup operations, and product innovation. As a secondary founder at my last organization, I grew the business at an average rate of 217% over my 7-year tenure. We are also very fortunate to have acquired a team of incredible advisors, including a clinical advisory council, to ensure that any claims made by Phase are evidence-based and rooted in best practice. Phase occupies a unique overlap between the $25 billion femtech and $10 billion productivity markets. We're confident in the demand for Phase because there are currently no productivity products catered specifically to women and their professional needs, despite the fact that women are 1.5 times more likely than men to invest in gender-specific solutions for their concerns. We also know from a recent study that 76% of women would be interested in a tool like Phase that helps them manage their cycle alongside their productivity and professional goals. Our go-to-market strategy is rooted in our experience launching and scaling apps. Our founding team has a proven track record of acquiring mass users with little to no market spend. We are currently accruing a mailing list through the FemTech Lab Accelerator. We have a research partnership with the University of Greenwich, as well as our own professional networks, and we are well on our way to reaching over 1,000 women ready for a soft launch in the fall. Following some beta testing this summer, we will be then using that network to incentivize referrals to Phase, as well as making some key investments into SEO, App Store discoverability, content, and social media. We are pre-revenue, but we have a good understanding of the SaaS metrics and KPIs that we need to hit in order to achieve our planned growth targets. Our tiered pricing structure caters to a diverse user base and also incentivizes long-term commitment by offering large savings for annual and lifetime subscribers. We are looking to raise a $750K round to open in the fall. And with this investment, we hope to solidify our position as pioneers of a new way of working for women. If you are interested in any way in joining us on that journey, please scan the QR code that you see here. And while you're doing that, I would love to open up the floor to questions for the dragons and anyone else. Thank you so much.
Maggie, congratulations on a good pitch and all the progress you've made so far. I'd love to hear more about your go-to-market strategy. Are you B2B, B2C?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're starting B2C very intentionally for a couple reasons. So I have quite a bit of experience in B2B SaaS, specifically in the corporate wellness space. And what I found there is that it's very difficult to build a product where your user base is different than the person you're selling to. And as a startup who are trying to be very conservative with how we're spending resources, you're basically creating 2 messaging channels, 2 funnels, and you're trying to get engagement from this group while selling to this group. To put it more simply, we don't quite believe in the user trust for a product like what we're building coming from companies to our users. We think that given all the privacy concerns, especially because we are integrating through a browser extension, that really coming to users as a B2C product is going to give them a level of reassurance that their data and their privacy is going to be protected. And finally, and this is probably most meaningful to my co-founders and I, we don't want to limit who can access this product simply to the companies who are willing to pay for 25% of their employees to access it. We really believe that, our ability to take this product and apply it to various industries, students in universities, obviously moving into perimenopause, we want to make sure that we keep that user base large. And by going B2B in the beginning, we think we would limit that. However, B2B is on our long-term roadmap once we have an established user base and we can approach a company and say, hey, let's do a per employee per month model. You pay for a certain percentage of your teams and we give them access to the product.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, that was brilliant. I have one, it's so interesting how your cycle can be correlated to being more creative at certain points or better at communication at certain points. I'd love if you could expand on that evidence base that you've generated, where it came from, how many people were included in the studies, et cetera, just to get a bit more of a feel for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish I can see our clinical advisory council over there, wanting to run up on stage and support me here. But so our clinical advisory council is made up of a PhD in neuroendocrinology, as well as 2 practicing physicians, 1 specialist in women's health and 1 OBGYN. And our approach to looking at the evidence is twofold. So first, we're looking at things on a cellular level, and that's where Jess and her expertise comes in, really understanding what is happening in our brain when you see certain hormone spikes or dips, how that's affecting the gray matter, how that's affecting your neurons, all of that. And then we are taking that information and leveraging the more practical side of our clinical advisory council in our practitioners and taking that and turning it into real world application. In addition, all 3 of the members of our clinical advisory council have done literature review to really sort of summarize for us all of the research that exists, what it says about each of these cognitive elements, and they've taken that and funneled it into sort of 5 key areas of cognition that you'll see on I call it our amoeba, but I'm sure our CTO hates that I'm not calling it a spider chart, but that are sort of more present in the research. That being said, this is emerging research. Most of the studies we're looking at are less than 10 years old, but we really aim to be sort of on the cutting edge of where things are going. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you. I love the energy of your pitch.
Thank you.
Can you help us understand how you help the user know where they are in their cycle. And I'm specifically thinking about how throughout your life stages, cycles change. Depending on your contraception, cycles change. So how do you cater to that? How does your model evolve?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to go off, start by saying we are focusing on a targeted market initially to build an organic user base that then we'll make investment in to grow that base. And that user base is women aged 30 to 45 who are still cycling. So we absolutely have plans on our long-term roadmap to investigate perimenopause, et cetera. But so in that, when you log into the app, you'll have two options. You can either manually add your cycle or you can integrate with existing period trackers. We sit alongside trackers. We are not in ourselves a cycle tracker. We are a way you can use the information you've been tracking to improve your life. So with that, our algorithm, I believe it goes from like a 24-day cycle up to a 26-day cycle, varying period lengths. We adjust all the lengths of the phases based on all that information which you input when you are onboarded. And then from there, we will learn from the user. So through programmed feedback loops, we'll get a better understanding of how accurate or inaccurate our recommendations are and adjust them accordingly once we start getting that feedback.